Howdy peeps, it's been a little while and here we are. Just going to get myself organised, back in a jiffy. Yeah, I know, preparation and everything, but you guys haven't really missed a thing because I just paused it because that's the advantage that I have over the way I do things. So, let me talk about the usual sort of shit. And I had something crop up on a feed, a news feed as it were. I've got to say, it kind of didn't trigger me, but maybe it did. This is what it says. A man simply being a father is nothing to praise him for. Okay. Yeah, no, that's a fair point. I mean, I've always said it. You know, the dumbest species on this planet can also, reproduce. So, yeah, it's not a real thing. On a side note, and it's a bit irrelevant, it's something that I've seen a lot of, whereas there's so many people out there that think they're actually something special because they have a kid. It's like they've achieved some ultimate life goal, and it's like a lot of the time, and there are exceptions to this, but a lot of the time where I'm seeing it's like, dude, you're stupid, your missus is pretty dumb, you haven't brought something good into the world. It might be good in your eyes, but if both sets of parents are as dumb as a box of rocks, what hope has a kid got? But that'll be their extension. It's like they'll continue to live their life through the child. Don't even get me started. So it carries on. He washes bottles. Cool, he's supposed to. He changes diapers. Great. That's what he signed up for. He keeps a baby while the mother is busy. Awesome. That's his job. I'm going to go back to that one. The bar is set so low for men, yet so unbelievably high for women. A woman isn't lucky to have a man who nurtures his own child. You don't reward a fish for swimming. And I put a response to the person that posted this. I said, reverse the roles. Is it sexist yet? Because I find that to be, as a guy, I would find that to be insulting to a degree. Definitely belittling. And, I've thought about going like how, because it's writing stuff out and then it's like, can I be bothered? Do I really, do I want to put in an essay, as it were, as to my thoughts on all of this? Well, I didn't want to do that. I thought, no, I'll go one up. I'll do a video for the channel. So, like I said, let's reverse the roles and let's see if I'm going to be, I suppose, sexist would be the way it's probably going to be seen as, because I have the audacity. I even thought about saying, well, all these women, usually the strong and empowered women, if you know what I mean, they're usually first to jump up and say, oh, single mums are so strong and so empowered and all of this. In the back of my mind, all I'm thinking is 75 to 80% of the UK male inmates come from broken homes and single parent households. Yeah, way to go, sisters. You're doing a fantastic job where that applies. Great choices. But whatever. She washes bottles. Cool. She's supposed to. She changes diapers. Great. That's what she signed up for. She keeps the baby while father is busy at work. Awesome. That is her duty. Now I've changed the word job to duty. So this is one of the things that a lot of people do. It's just a slight annoyance. It's like a parental role is not a job. It's a duty. Because you have a duty of care to... I find it difficult sometimes to actually think that I have to be one of these guys that explains the simplest of things to sometimes what I think is I don't know what's wrong with them. It's like, it's not a job, it's not a career, it's not an employment, it's a responsibility. As a parent, they have a duty of care to their kid. And considering, all right, we can joke aside and be like, oh yeah, well, single mums are, especially if they've got two or more baby daddies going on, they've had kids from two or more parents, fathers or whatever. We refer to them as being as continuous bad decision makers. One after the next. I mean, it's just one of them things, and I've seen both sides of that. I've met the girls that are just in it for the cash. It's just whatever they can extract out of the father. And I've met not many, more of the other, of course, but not many. Whereas, and it wasn't just it was an accident. It was a wild night, or she forgot to take the pill, or whatever. Insert your excuses wherever you want. The point being is, I'm not fully convinced that they were fully, that they had the full knowledge of what was coming their way as soon as a child was to be born into their life. Let's go into this last bit. The bar is set so low for women and yet so unbelievably high for men. And I think that is truer than what is actually written here. A man isn't lucky to have a woman who nurtures her own child. You don't reward a fish for swimming. Now, I'd say this is more relevant by today's standards anyway, and whereas, you look at relationships, all women have to do really is turn up, and they will then either like the guy or not. And if they don't like the guy, they're not going to sleep with him, they're probably not going to see him again, they sure as hell ain't going to be having kids with him, right? Unless they're a bit desperate and crazy in their head and irresponsible. But the truth is guys have always had a higher bar set for the list of expectations, not just in relationships, but in everything, and it's like, you look at the way women act now, it's they're trying to be men. The sad thing is a lot of them don't quite understand is, to a guy, that is the most unattractive thing you could do. A lot of guys just like feminine women. Just honest, decent, feminine women. Not women that go out, get stupid drunk and want to fight the world or argue with this or cause drama with you. And most guys ain't interested in that. Well, I say that. It depends on the age and the sort of mindset of the individual, of course. But for the most part, I don't, personally, I wouldn't want all of that sort of drama. It's like, just no. And this is it. It's because they're now trying to level up to the status of man, and it's like, okay then, well, let's see you start serving the same prison sentences for the same crime, and see how this pans out, see how they like it. And it's funny because they go on about everyone else being oppressed and underprivileged and overprivileged, and it's like, girlfriend, have you even checked your own status recently? They don't. A lot of them don't. It's like the work guys have to put in order to get a date. You're expected to be good looking. You're expected to be well groomed. You have a sense of humour, all your own teeth, a good job, a nice car, your own house, and and on it goes. What do the women do? Just turn up. Just turn up. That's it. Literally, that is all that they have to do, is turn up, decide whether they like the guy enough they're going to sleep with him, or whether they're just going to use him as a meal ticket. So, to any women out there that watch this video and you think that men have a low bar set, and it's like, look, for those percentage of guys that are on that low bar, they weren't with you in the first place for the reasons that you thought or that you wanted. Right? You were just a weekend of fun, or a short-term relationship that really wasn't going to go anywhere. So when these women get themselves pregnant with I suppose you can call them Chads, Tyrones, Juans and Miguels or whatever, right? Call them what you want. At the end of the day, they weren't serious in the first place. A lot of time I think, oh, well, if I just have a kid, he'll stay. No, he ain't going to stay. And he ain't going to want to pay you child support because chances are he didn't want the child in the first place. That's a decision that they unilaterally make without any sort of, talking about it. Oh, I forgot to take my pill. Oh, I was on this medication, but I drank some grapefruit or something. Who knows what, right? And just magically got pregnant. It's like, no, it's... And again, the responsibility with that, which I never want to talk of, is there are enough ways to know, if you are pregnant, and gives you opportunity to, but they always say, well, men need to cover up too. And it's like, well, yeah, and it takes two to tango. So if you're going to do things that way, you're both running the risk. But ultimately, because, again, that side of it is left to the women, they're going to be like, well, okay, well, we won't use protection because I'm allergic or whatever the reason, right? And they get pregnant. And then it's like, oh yeah, they're so strong and empowered. And it's like, yeah, no, you're not. No, you're not. And that's just what I wanted to talk about in this video. It's just sort of like the amount of people out there, usually women, just saying it for what it is, and they're under the impression that they have high bars. No, we have expectations. If you become pregnant, from that point on, you have a duty of care to that child. That is your responsibility. In an ideal world, it would be a shared responsibility. You like to think that the couple are there for each other, but realistically speaking, a lot of time nowadays it ain't the case. You got women that are sleeping with guys for the sake of getting up the corporate ladder, or for the sake of getting a pay rise, which, in the long term, quite well, in the short term, hedonistic, yeah, it might get you that, but in the long term, you got to think of how your social standing is going to be seen amongst your peers. If you're an easy woman that gets around a lot, you ain't going to get respected. Simple as that. No one's ever going to take you seriously. And how can you expect them to? Hey, you point these things out. It's just like, hey, you're being sexist. It's like, no, we're actually trying to help women. I'm sure there are a lot of guys out there that do just, take the piss and make fun. But I like to take a bit of both. A bit of have a laugh at the same time, be a bit serious, and just point things out for what they are. But here we go. Oh yeah. Strong and independent women. Yeah, so strong and independent that the kid's got a high chance of ending up in prison. Yeah, that's how well we're doing. That is how well that movement has done for a lot of the male population. But it's all about equality. Let's not forget that. So, just saying. Anyway, look, that's all I've got for this one. Thoughts, comments and opinions, feel free to jot them down. As always, till the next one, stay cool, stay free. Peace out.